You were designed for a world that no longer exists. Your biology is an ancient machine trapped in a padded room. The absence of struggle is not peace. It is the beginning of a silent, systemic decay of the self. We have traded our resilience for a comfortable cage. Every convenience is a microdose of obsolescence for your survival instincts. Biologically, we are programmed to conserve energy, but in an era of infinite calories and zero friction, this survival mechanism has turned into a lethal trap that slowly shuts down our vital metabolic systems. The modern world is a vacuum of resistance. Without a load to carry, the human spirit begins to crumble and decay. This is the principle of atrophy. What is not used is reclaimed by the void. What is not challenged simply ceases to grow. Consider the biological mismatch. Our ancestors survived through acute stress and long periods of scarcity. Their bodies were forged by the environment. Yours is being softened by it. Hormesis is the biological phenomenon where a low dose of stress triggers a beneficial adaptation. Challenge strengthens every internal system. Think of the cold. Shivering activates ancient metabolic pathways that burn visceral fat and sharpen your focus for the coming day. Heat works the same way. The stress of the sauna triggers heat shock proteins that repair damaged cells and protect the brain from future neurodegenerative decline. Look at the world around you. We have spent millennia trying to outrun hunger and cold, only to realize that our victory has become a new kind of prison for our physiology. Statistical reality shows that sedentary lifestyles are now the leading contributors to chronic illness. We are moving less and thinking less as algorithms optimize for our collective laziness. Imagine your biological systems as a city that has stopped maintaining its vital infrastructure. When there is no demand for high-speed transit, the roads begin to crack. When there is no need for heavy power, the grid begins to fail. This is exactly what happens to your metabolic health when you eliminate friction. The glucose in your blood has nowhere to go because your muscles have stopped asking for it. Your insulin levels rise in a desperate attempt to manage the overflow, leading to a cascade of inflammation that touches every organ in your body. This is not a sudden accident. It is a slow, methodical collapse caused by the total absence of work. Your mitochondria, the powerhouses of your cells, become sluggish and inefficient. They are designed to burn through fuel under pressure, but in the stillness of comfort, they begin to leak oxidative stress, damaging your DNA and accelerating the aging process from the inside out. You are not just resting, you are slowly fading away into obsolescence. The comfort of a temperature-controlled room is a lie. It tricks the nervous system into a state of perpetual hibernation, where the fire of your metabolism slowly dims to a flicker.
Growth is not a default state of being. It is a reactive state. Without the stimulus of cold, the body forgets how to generate heat. Without the stimulus of hunger, the cells forget how to recycle their own waste. We are essentially becoming biological hoards, accumulating energy we will never use and protecting tissues that have forgotten how to work. The mental landscape of the modern individual has become a series of well-worn paths that never lead anywhere new. We have built digital and physical environments that protect us from the slightest hint of confusion or disagreement. This cognitive safety is actually a cage. When you never encounter ideas that challenge your worldview, your prefrontal cortex loses its flexibility. The ability to hold two opposing thoughts in the mind simultaneously, the hallmark of true intelligence, begins to evaporate. You become reactive rather than reflective. This mental atrophy makes you vulnerable to the smallest inconveniences. A slow internet connection or a differing opinion feels like a personal assault because your psychological calluses have been stripped away by the padded life. To stay mentally sharp, you must deliberately seek out the friction of complex study and the heat of intellectual debate. You must force your mind to operate in the gray areas where certainty is impossible. Only through this sustained cognitive labor can you build a mind resilient enough to handle reality. We must recognize that the frictionless path is a descent. Every shortcut taken is a piece of your potential left on the cutting room floor. The resilience of our ancestors was not a choice, it was a byproduct of their environment. For us, resilience must be an act of rebellion. Without these external signals, your metabolic pathways become stagnant. This lack of friction leads directly to the modern plagues of metabolic syndrome, insulin resistance, and systemic chronic inflammation. Cognitive decline is the mental equivalent of muscle wasting. If your brain is never forced to navigate complex problems, the neural networks prune themselves into a state of fragility. Seek out the difficult questions that offer no easy answers. The modern world is a vacuum of resistance. This lack of effort is a slow, silent poison for the human soul. The padded life removes the necessity of character. When every whim is satisfied instantly, the ability to endure, to wait, and to struggle evaporates from the human psyche. This is why you feel a lingering sense of emptiness despite having everything you need. Your system is screaming for a challenge that never comes. You are a predator living in a petting zoo. Mental fragility is the direct result of avoiding cognitive dissonance. By surrounding ourselves only with ideas that confirm our biases, we lose the mental calluses required to navigate a complex and often hostile reality. To grow, we must shatter our comfort and welcome the sharp edges of truth that force us to adapt.
The cure is a radical rejection of the shortcut. You must choose to do things the hard way for your survival. In physical terms, this means lifting heavy weights, not for aesthetics, but to maintain bone density and hormonal health against a sedentary world that wants you soft. Resistance training is a dialogue with your mortality. It tells your body that it is still needed, that it must remain strong to meet the demands of the environment. Without that signal, your hormones collapse. Intellectual struggle is just as vital. Seek out the books that are hard to read. Seek out the arguments that make you uncomfortable. This friction is the only thing that prevents your mind from becoming a desert of shallow thoughts. You must push through the mental fog to forge a clarity that only comes from deep, exhausting focus on the problems that most people would rather ignore entirely for ease. Professional success is often framed as the pursuit of ease, but the myth of effortless success is a lie. Only the friction of sustained, difficult labor builds a resilient legacy that survives the passage of time. Systemic resilience is the bridge between the biological and the social. It is the capacity of a system, whether a cell or a corporation, to maintain core functions despite external shocks. By cultivating friction in our metabolic pathways, we build the internal structural integrity required to face the complexity of professional and ethical life. Our relationships are victims of comfort. We avoid conflict to keep peace, but we kill the honesty that makes connection real. Honest disputes are the forge of genuine leadership. A relationship without friction is like a machine without oil. Eventually, the parts will seize up and the entire system will break under the slightest pressure. To lead is to navigate the uncomfortable truth. It is to choose the difficult conversation over the easy silence. This is how trust is built, through the fire of shared struggle. Social convenience is a parasite that thrives on our fear of rejection. It encourages us to hide our true selves just to avoid the risk of being disliked. But growth only occurs when we are willing to be tested by the friction of other people's perspectives and the weight of our own responsibilities. By avoiding the heat of honest dialogue, we settle for shallow connections that offer no real support. We must embrace the discomfort of truth to build resilient bonds. The conclusion is a hardline survival imperative. Convenience is not your friend. It is a consumer of the spirit. To live is to resist the gravitational pull of ease. If you accept the path of least resistance, you are agreeing to wither away while you are still breathing. You are choosing a slow suicide over a vibrant life. The hard path is the only environment where the human system remains functional, relevant, and truly alive. Seek the weight, seek the cold, seek the truth that hurts.
Every time you choose the difficult option, you are casting a vote for your future self. You are reinforcing the structures that keep you resilient. You are refusing to let the rot of comfort take hold of your heart and your mind. This is the only way to stay human in a world designed to make you obsolete. Every decision to struggle is a declaration of independence from the gravity of ease. You are building a foundation of strength that will support you when the real trials of existence arrive. Do not wait for a crisis to discover your limits. Seek them out now. Success is found on the uphill path. It is found in moments when you want to quit, but choose to endure. Remember, your biology expects a fight. Give it one. Don't let the comfort of today steal the strength of your tomorrow. Stay sharp, stay uncomfortable. Because in the end, the easy life is the heaviest burden of all. Choose the weight that makes you grow. This is your wake-up call. The walls of your comfort zone are not there to protect you. They are the walls of your tomb. Every single day, you are making a choice. You are either choosing the friction that leads to growth, or you are choosing the ease that leads to obsolescence. Break down the barriers. Step into the cold. Embrace the weight that makes your muscles tremble. Reclaim your biological heritage of resilience and strength, because nobody else is going to do it for you. Every moment is a battle against the pull of gravity, against the lure of the couch, and against the silence of stagnation. Do not go gently into that good night of convenience and shallow pleasures.
Fight for your life by making it harder. Strength is not found in the absence of struggle, but in the center. Comfort is a slow suicide. Resistance is the only way to live. Choose your path wisely, for ease leads to ruin. The choice is yours, every single morning. Will you be consumed by the parasite of convenience, or will you forge yourself in the fires of necessity? The human spirit was not meant to be idle. It was meant to overcome. Go out and find your friction. Your survival depends on it. Stay strong, stay resilient, and never, ever settle for a life that doesn't demand everything you have to give. The hard path is the only one worth taking.
This is the end of the beginning of your transformation. Now you must go out and face the weight, the cold, the truth, the struggle. Transform the slow suicide of comfort into the vibrant, blinding explosion of a life truly lived. Your future self is waiting in the friction of the difficult path, and they are stronger than you can possibly imagine. Do not keep them waiting any longer. Break the cycle of ease. Choose the uphill path. Every step forward in the dark is a victory for the human spirit. Go find your friction and let it sharpen you into something indestructible. The world will try to soften you, to convince you that safety is the highest good. It is not. The highest good is the realization of your potential, which can only be forged in the fires of resistance. Do not look for the shortcut. Look for the obstacle. That is where you will find yourself, forged in the heat. To live is to resist. To accept comfort is to agree to wither. The heavy weight is your salvation. Embrace the struggle and the resistance.